In this video, I'm going to show you how to update the multi-module device drivers on your Windows computer using Flash Multi. You might need to do this if you've got outdated drivers and you've had an error message, something along the lines of cannot claim DFU interface when you're trying to write firmware to the module, or you just may not have the drivers installed at all, so you want to install them for the first time. Now, if you're updating the drivers and you've got the outdated driver, the first thing we probably want to do is check. And if you're getting that error, we can diagnose it. Pretty straightforward. You've noticed I've plugged my module in and I've let it start up because I want to look in Device Manager and check that the device is there. But it's not the serial port device that we're interested in. The device driver we particularly need to update is what's known as the DFU device driver or device firmware update. So in order to check that, we need to be able to see the device in Device Manager. And for that to happen, the device has to be in DFU mode. So right here from Flash Multi, Advanced, Actions, Reset Module DFU mode. And it just resets our module. You can see that the red LED is blinking rapidly, which means it's now in DFU mode. So if I bring up Device Manager, you can see here I have my Maple DFU device, which is what multi-modules are known as sometimes in DFU mode, and you can see it's under this tree called libusb Win32. And if we take a closer look here, we will see that the driver that's being used is the libusb Win32 driver, which is the out-of-date driver that we need to replace. So now that we know that that's definitely our problem, updating it's pretty easy. What I'm going to do is unplug my module and plug it back in, and this is just to reset the module back into serial mode so that we can install both of the device drivers in one go and they get associated with the correct devices. So now that it's reset and it's running again, and we can see that Flash Multi has detected it as COM port 4, I can come and click Advanced and then Actions and then Install USB device drivers. Now, I get a little prompt reminding me to plug my module in before I start this, and that's simply so that the right driver can be associated with the device. When I click OK here, my computer is going to give me an administrator elevation prompt. Now, you've probably seen these before when you install software or you do something on your computer that requires administrator rights, like installing device drivers. Now, you won't see it because I can't record it because of the way Windows works, but I'm going to click Yes on that prompt. Now, the prompt asks me if I want to allow a program called wdi-simple.exe to make changes to my computer. And we'll actually get that prompt twice, once for each of the two drivers that we need to install. So I'm going to say OK here. The screen's going to go dark for a second while I click Yes on that elevation prompt, and then you'll see Flash Multi come back and start to install the serial device driver. Now, this takes a few seconds, so while it does that, I'll explain what happens next. Once the serial device driver is installed, Flash Multi will reset the module into DFU mode. Again, like we did manually, this time it'll happen automatically. And again, that's just so that the installer can associate the device with the correct driver. When that happens, I'll get that second elevation prompt asking me if I consent to letting wdi-simple.exe make changes to my computer, and I'll click yes. Now, because this can take a moment or two, I'm going to pause the recording so that we can fast forward to doing the next driver install. Okay, so I got that other prompt, the second prompt for wdi-simple.exe, and now my DFU mode driver is installing. Now, although the dialog is still on screen telling me it's installing the driver, I can take a look in Device Manager and see that, in fact, the libusb Win32 driver has gone away. It's no longer a libusb Win32 device. It's now a libusb-K USB device, and the description is multi-module DFU bootloader. And that indicates pretty clearly to me that we've succeeded in upgrading the driver, and I now have the correct device driver installed, and I should no longer get those cannot claim DFU interface messages when I try and write the firmware. Now, this driver installation will also take a minute or two to complete. There we go, it's now done, and my module is operational. However, it's still in DFU device mode. At this point, I can write firmware to it, or I can simply unplug it and plug it back in, and it will start back up. We haven't touched the firmware on the module. The module itself is exactly the same as it was before we started. All we did was reset it into DFU mode a couple of times, which is a perfectly normal operating mode for the module. So there we go. That's how you update your multi-module device drivers using Flash Multi.